In February this year, Tanzania Railways and China Railway Corporation jointly signed a contract for the construction of a standard gauge railway with a total value of $2.154 billion. The contract involves the 7th and 8th sections of the Tanzania Standard Gauge Railway (SGR), mainly to build a railway connecting the Port of Dar es Salaam in Tanzania and Musongati in Burundi, with a total length of 282 kilometers and an estimated construction period of 6 years. When put into use, this project will enhance the connectivity of the East African region and promote the export of mineral resources such as nickel ore in Burundi. But it is worth noting that this railway connecting Burundi is just the beginning. Tanzania also stated that the railway network will be further expanded in the future, connecting the Indian Ocean coast with Rwanda, Uganda, Congo, and other countries, and eventually forming a railway network throughout East Africa. So, why does Tanzania want to build this railway to help Burundi export its mineral resources? What are the deep strategic significance behind this railway connecting the Indian Ocean? If you like our video content, please click to subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you can receive all our latest video content. Now, let's get into today's topic. In Africa, there's a small country called Burundi, which is one of the poorest countries in the world. In this country, anyone who owns a bicycle is almost a tycoon in the village, and the living standards are not much different from those before and after World War II. Burundi's annual GDP is only $3.6 billion, and its per capita GDP is even pitifully low at only about $285. However, despite Burundi's poor economy, it has relatively rich mineral resources. According to my investigation, the country's peat reserves are as high as 500 million tons, and its phosphate reserves are 30.5 million tons. In addition, Burundi recently discovered a huge nickel mine in the south, making Burundi one of the top 10 nickel ore reserves in the world, with a staggering 260 million tons of nickel ore reserves. It can be said that this poor land seems to be buried with endless resources. Perhaps one day, Burundi will be able to use these resources to usher in the opportunity for change. However, despite its rich mineral resources, Burundi faces an unexpected problem: the export problem. Burundi is located in the central and eastern part of Africa, bordering Rwanda to the north, the famous Tanzania to the east and south, and Congo to the west. Surrounded by other countries on all sides, Burundi has become a typical landlocked country. To make matters more complicated, Burundi's neighbor Rwanda is also a landlocked country, so exporting through Rwanda is obviously impossible. Congo to the west has been mired in civil war for a long time, and the situation is turbulent. It is obviously not feasible to export through Congo. Therefore, Burundi's only viable option is Tanzania. In order to solve this export problem, Burundi sent officials to Tanzania in 2022, hoping to export mineral resources through Tanzania's ports. In return, Burundi promised to give Tanzania 8% of its profits. Faced with this lucrative benefit, Tanzania quickly agreed to Burundi's request to allow Burundi to export mineral resources through the port of Dar es Salaam. However, the problem is not solved. Transporting mineral resources to the port of Dar es Salaam is still a key problem. After all, Burundi, as a poor country, only has meter gauge railways left over from the last century, which are slow in efficiency and extremely costly. But unfortunately, both Burundi and Tanzania are relatively backward in railway construction and have no ability to build a new cross-border railway alone. This has put the two countries in a year-long deadlock. However, at this moment of stalemate, Tanzania suddenly thought of a solution seeking help from China. Subsequently, Tanzania launched the Standard Gauge Railway Corridor Development Plan and jointly requested assistance from China, hoping that China could help build a cross-border railway. So, will this cooperation succeed? Until February 2025, China Railway Corporation announced that its consortium had signed a contract with Tanzania Railway Corporation for the construction of a standard gauge railway worth 2.154 billion US dollars excluding tax. As far as I know, the project signed this time is the 7th and 8th sections of Tanzania's Standard Gauge Railway Corridor Development Plan (SGR). Among them, the 7th section involves the construction of a railway from Uvinza to Malagarasi in Tanzania, with a total length of 156 kilometers, while the 8th section spans Burundi, connecting Malagarasi to Musongati, with a total length of 84 kilometers. The construction period of the entire project is expected to be 6 years. However, one of the most eye-catching highlights of this project is the plan to build a 1-kilometer-long cross-border bridge that will support both railway and road traffic. This will not only help improve the efficiency of cross-border transportation, but also lay a solid foundation for future passenger and freight transportation. 7 passenger stations will also be planned and built along the line, as well as a freight station in Musongati, to further promote the flow of people and goods between the two countries and lay the foundation for future passenger and freight transportation. According to the plan, the completed railway will form a transportation corridor from the Port of Dar Salaam in Tanzania to the nickel mining area of Musongati in Burundi. The Musongati region not only has the world's 10th largest nickel mine, but also contains rich resources such as gold, platinum group metals, copper, and iron ore. It is expected that after the completion of the railway, it will be able to transport about 3 million tons of mineral resources each year. What is more noteworthy is that the opening of this new railway will greatly shorten the transportation time. According to existing statistics, the current meter gauge railway transportation takes more than 9 hours, while the newly built standard gauge railway will greatly reduce this time to only 3.5 hours. This change will not only improve transportation efficiency, but will also inevitably change the face of regional trade activities and drive more cross-border trade and economic development. The Tanzania Minister of Transport pointed out that this project is an important part of achieving the African Union's 2026 agenda, and the SGR Railway project will connect more countries in the future. So what is going on? In fact, the railway connection between Burundi and Tanzania is only part of Tanzania's larger plan. Tanzania's goal is to build a railway network through East Africa in the future through the Standard Gauge Railway Corridor Development Plan, SGR, connecting neighboring countries such as Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, Congo, and eventually leading to an important outlet to the Indian Ocean. Therefore, this railway is not only an important part of the Central Corridor Planning Network in East Africa, but also included in Tanzania's 2025 Vision Plan and 2011 to 2025 Transportation Policy Implementation Strategy Railway Development Plan, one of the key projects. Considering that most of these countries are landlocked countries, once this railway network is completed, Tanzania will become a transit logistics center in Africa and play an important hub role. For a country that has always been dominated by agriculture, once it realizes the transit center in Africa, it will undoubtedly achieve rapid economic growth. According to the plan, the entire SGR railway will be constructed with an electrified standard gauge, with a planned length of about 651 kilometers. In the future, this railway will connect the Port of Dar es Salaam in the Indian Ocean and the Port of Mwanza on Lake Victoria to form a regional railway network. In this way, the railway will greatly increase the speed of freight, reduce transportation costs, and greatly promote trade between regions. In addition, the project will also extend to Isaka, an important town in northern Tanzania, and connect to Mwanza, the second largest city, so that the railway will be connected to the water transport network of Lake Victoria, the world's second largest freshwater lake, to achieve water and land transport. It is understood that the SGR Railway project consists of a railway network of about 2,000 kilometers, which will be developed and constructed in 6 phases. The first section has started in April 2017 and is also constructed by China. So far, the standard gauge railway project under construction has created more than 30,000 jobs for Tanzania, brought more than $2.7 billion in revenue to the country, and provided about $28.6 billion in subcontracts to local contractors in Tanzania, which has undoubtedly injected strong impetus into local economic development. In August 2024, the standard gauge railway from Dar es Salaam to the capital Dodoma officially opened for commercial operation. The railway shortens the travel time between Dar es Salaam and Dodoma to about 3.5 hours. And if you take a bus, the journey that originally took more than 9 hours to complete is now faster and more efficient. Most notably, Tanzania has stated that all future SGR railway projects will be handed over to China. So why did Tanzania choose to cooperate with China? According to my investigation, the root of all this can be traced back to a key factor in the last century. In the 1960s, African countries ushered in a wave of national independence and liberation. Tanzania and Zambia also became independent one after another during this period, and they urgently needed to achieve economic independence. For Zambia, a landlocked country, building a railway to the port of Dar es Salaam in Tanzania can effectively guarantee its copper exports and bring it more sources of income. Tanzania also needs such a railway to promote its own economic development. However, at that time, Tanzania and Zambia faced a double shortage of technology and funds and could not complete the project independently. It was in this context that Tanzania sought help from China. It should be noted that China's economic strength was not as strong as it is now, and resources were relatively scarce. But in order to win more allies in the complex international situation at that time, China did not hesitate to agree to Tanzania's request. It is worth noting that although China was not rich at the time, it still provided nearly 1 million tons of equipment and materials and sent more than 56,000 people, which took 5 years and 8 months to help the people of Tanzania and Zambia build the 1,860-kilometer Tanzania-Zambia Railway. After the completion of the railway, it quickly became the main transportation artery connecting the two countries, providing a safe and fast transportation channel for Zambia's copper or exports. In fact, this railway once undertook more than 80% of Zambia's copper or export transportation tasks. Therefore, it is precisely because of China's selfless assistance that Tanzania, a country with not rich resources and scarce oil, has been able to stand out in the African economy and rank among the top 10. Therefore, this is why when Tanzania was looking for a partner, the first thing it thought of was China. To not miss out on our future projects and news updates, please make sure you subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications. We will continue to provide you with more exciting and interesting content.